What up, you guys? Happy full moon in Pisces. We've got a lunar eclipse tonight. This starts us off into our fall eclipse season. And unlike other eclipse seasons, this one is actually something that I'm kind of looking forward to. Many times eclipse seasons can serve to rip the rug out from under us because they're sort of like these cosmic gateways and wormholes and portals that like suck us through and push us out the other side. But as they do that, they strip away what can't come with us. And sometimes that's jolting. And sometimes the eclipses are trying to take away things that we didn't expect to lose, or we didn't expect to need to change, or we weren't like things that maybe we have surprises that we didn't see coming. And so if you try to hold on to the things that you need to shed during eclipse seasons, then it can be even more chaotic, and that can cause more and more discomfort until that thing is finally shed. Whatever that is for you. It might be an addiction, it might be a habit, it might be a way of perceiving or thinking. It might be something that you need to forgive, or you need to do over, or you need to complete. It may be relationships that you need to end, or a job that needs to go, or something that you need to finally take a chance and try. That maybe like the universe gives you a shove that you weren't expecting. But this time around, it's like we've already been through all of those sort of rug ripped out from under us moments, or at least the majority of us have, I believe, if you are in this collective. Because this started to kind of happen, like the initiation of this whole huge pivot, like everyone's big reinvention, started to shift and change during 2020, 2021, 2022 was probably like the beginning of a new chapter within the great deconstruction. We were deconstructing ourselves, and we were sort of in a void period there for a while, and now we've pulled ourselves back together again, and we've up leveled in many ways, and we're like new people now, for sure. Night and day from who we were. And so at the end of that cycle of change, that big transformative deconstruction and then reinvention of self, getting ready to jump into this new timeline, that's like the end of a cycle within the big cycle of that 15-year period of Pluto retrograde in Saturn, or Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, which was like very disciplinary and strict in our lives. So like where you were like challenged, and where you had pain and difficulty, and you had to really like persevere and learn discipline and learn structure, and you felt the discipline of the universe. Maybe you felt judgment and chaos that you had to go through. And maybe that was that fire that shaped and welded you and melded you into the sword that you have become. So a lot of us have been through the ringer through those 15 years, but that cycle is coming to a close too. And that cycle is coming to a close like mid-November, late November. And so right now, Pluto had earlier in the year gone into Aquarius. And we had a preview of what life and our mindset and things might be like in the next period, in the next cycle. However, there was recently, that was only temporary for a minute, and then Pluto dipped back into retrograde into Capricorn to finish out the year. So it's like when you get to step away from a situation for a minute and gain perspective, and then when you go back in, you're like, okay, I'm even more prepared. I can do this. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We've stepped away for a minute, and now we've come back to the homework, and now we're looking at it with fresh eyes, with more integrated wisdom, with more integrated discernment and perception and like perspective. And so now we're like going back over all of those lessons and how far we've come over the last 15 years. And we're preserving that wisdom, and we're really integrating it so that when we start launching forward into these into the new fresh starts, we are going to be equipped with new habits, new mindsets. We're going to be more armored up in that higher self. Like we're going to be wearing the higher self uniform rather than be carrying around the lower self tendencies and the lower self patterns and the lower self dramas and the lower self shortcomings and the lower self weaknesses. It's like we're really integrating this right now, and we're like in a boot camp getting ready for the next phase, and it's very exciting. It's very fun. So in that way that Pluto kind of retrograded back into Capricorn, where we got to revisit it after stepping away, so too this is happening with the eclipse in Pisces. So the North Node and the South Node of the Moon have been in Aries. The North Node has been in Aries and the South Node has been in Libra over the past like year and a half or a year or so. And this has been reinventing the way we perceive ourselves and who we are and how we're showing up in this world, and changing the way that we used to relate to others. The South Node in Libra is about leaving behind old relationship patterns and old relational dynamics that no longer serve our highest good and no longer serve our forward progress toward fulfilling our destiny. The North Node of the Moon is the destiny that we're growing towards, whilst the South Node is what we're leaving behind. So in January, I think January 25th, I think is what it is, the nodes of the moon are shifting into Pisces and Virgo. And I believe that we're shifting, the North Node is going into Pisces and the South Node into Virgo. So this full moon lunar eclipse is in Pisces, even though we still have the nodes in Aries and Libra. So normally we would expect that the eclipse would be in Aries and Libra. It's unusual that we're getting a preview of like what's to come. So this Pisces full moon eclipse starts our eclipse season, and the eclipse season is what, like a full moon, a new moon, and a full moon again. So it's like 3 lunar cycles over like 6 weeks or so. So over the next 6 weeks, we're going to be getting really clear, because this full moon in Pisces is connected or conjunct to Neptune. And so there's so much heightened energy around our imagination, our creativity, and our dreams, and our connection with that soul realm, with that spiritual realm, with that psychic realm, and how they cross, and how our visions and our goals are born in our imagination, but they become thought forms there, and they become something that gains momentum and power that we bring into fruition with, you know, the power of God on our side moving through us, right? We're channeling that light. That's why we're always trying to perfect the vessel. We're trying to make ourselves an instrument that can productively and proficiently and competently channel the light of the Creator through, so that we can fulfill our destiny, so that we can be of service, so that we can let our talents shine, so that we can help others, so that we can be of service, so that we can be our best selves, so that we can bring goodness to the world. So let's see, where does that put us? So we are seeing, our dreams, our desires dreams are being magnified, and we're being able to see like vividly, okay, I can kind of see what I want. I see the vision of my life going forward, or at least I feel the essence of it very, very poignantly. And now I'm getting a sense of where I need to aim and the steps that I need to start taking to head in that direction. So it's like things are getting exciting, and it's like prompting our curiosity, like, you know, it's like things we're starting to feel a little frisky, you know, a little wily, like we got something cooking, you know, we got some irons in the fire, there's some movement, like some excitement again. And so we're starting to get excited, and there's little glimmers of hope and little glimmers of goodness and joy and things starting to come in. Now, this is only a preview, because we still have the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra for the next few months until January. So this is just a preview of what's to come, but this full moon in Pisces is going to initiate the transformation and changes that are left that need to occur in order to set us up for success in this next cycle. So we're going to be letting go of and shedding like a lot of things like that we would perceive things a certain way, and then that would take us down a certain thought spiral, and it would affect our mood and our feelings and our self-worth and our self-perception and like what we would settle for, demand for, or how we would react, or all of that. It's like we're seeing through those dramas, those soap operas, those patterns, and we're cutting them off before they start, whilst saying, okay, so if this is my trigger and this is my reactive behavior, I need to pause the reactive behavior and choose to show up differently. Let it be different. Like, keep reminding yourself, just let it be different, let it be different. So this is our chance to get to practice these new behaviors and letting those old behaviors go. And so as you try to toss those old behaviors out, they're going to get sucked up in all that, and all this great eclipse energy. Just think of it as like a big cosmic vacuum and like a big slingshot that's like pushing you forward into your future. And to give yourself more momentum moving forward, it's like give away all the crap, leave it behind. Like the more of your ego that you give to be sacrificed, that's the gasoline that's burning, that's fueling your launch into this new cycle. So, new mindsets, new routines, new ability to meet the task at hand, right? There's going to be a new sense of clarity, a new sense of internal space opened up because we're not doing so much of the work anymore. And I also feel like this energy is going to be really lightened up and things can move forward a lot quicker now, because like the iron hand of discipline isn't going to be hovering over our every move in the same way as it has been. So let's hope. And then Uranus is retrograde in Taurus, which is, giving us a different way of thinking and perceiving and approaching, how we create security and home and beauty and how we materialize our dreams. So with the sun in Virgo and everything like that, it's like there's all this emphasis right now on like the way that we are doing things and the way that we're showing up in life are being cleaned up and changed and edited. So it's like a lot of our outward behaviors are being addressed as well, not just our internal shifts. Okay, so let's start the reading. The first card will represent us in the context of this moment. Who are we in the context of this moment? Indecision is keeping you in a stalemate. So that might be one of the self-defeating tendencies holding us back from really blooming and blossoming into that full potential. Is like being afraid of making a mistake, so we're not making progress because we're frozen in indecision, and it's like we're not able to rule out anything either. So it's better to just make a decision, and if it's wrong, no big deal, just like course correct. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, just act decisively. Frozen, stuck in fear, overanalyzing. Connect to your heart and feel. Sorry, I ate almonds before this, and like the skin of the almond is like floating around on my tooth. I don't want it to be like on my tooth during the reading. Frozen, stuck in fear, overanalyzing. Connect to your heart and feel. You're overthinking. What if there was no wrong decision? There's a lesson here about being decisive. Make a decision, commit to it, and if it fails, fail fast and try the other. Taking no action is more destructive than making a mistake and learning from it. I agree. So don't let overwhelm and indecision keep you in a stalemate. Just do something and see how it goes, and then make another decision from there. Okay. What's crossing us now? This is an issue of self-worth. So, I got it. It was a piece of popcorn kernel. This is an issue of self-worth. So the influence that's crossing us in this situation, that's keeping us in indecision, the reason why we're indecision is because this is an issue of self-worth. If we had really deep anchored in self-worth, there would be no wavering. There would be no indecision, because I think that the indecision is coming from a defense mechanism to try to shield the self from rejection or abandonment or failure. But the thing is, it's like if we felt we were totally worthy, we just jump in and know everything was going to be okay, right? Imagine if you were like wanted to be self-made, but you came from like a family of like crazy wealth, generational wealth, but you were like, I don't want the generational wealth. I'm just going to make my own way in life. And so you wanted to be an artist, and you even had like the serving job artist life. And even though your family's all like rich and everything, but you were really brave, and you would take these risks, and you would really go after what you wanted, even though you had a job and all that stuff, because deep down, you know that if you got into a place that was so horrible, you have this backup safety net, and people like you know that you would be taken care of. You know that people love you and that you're valued, and that no one's going to let you suffer. No one's going to let you be left out in the cold, right? That's because your self-worth is solid, because you had that security early on. That scenario is someone like, okay, yeah, it's easy for someone to take risks, right? When they have that kind of safety net, even though by choice, they're like, I'm not using that safety net. I want to be self-made. But when you know it's there, it makes it a lot easier, right? Even if you have no intention of using it. Whereas low self-worth is likened to the feeling of not having that safety net, and no one is necessarily there, and it's all risk, and you know, you're the only one there catching your fall. So it's harder to make a decision, because it feels like everything's at stake, because you're afraid that no one is going to take care of you, and you will be left out in the cold. So it's like that's kind of the difference of the feeling of the security you'd feel going ahead with something when you have high self-worth. It's like a metaphor, but it's very closely connected. Versus the insecurity you feel about something when you don't have that backup, when you don't have that self-worth. It feels like the same as when you're facing, you know, the huge life of the world all on your own without that safety net. It's a lot harder to take those risks and leaps and believe in yourself. So we're building our self-worth so that being out in the world as self-made self-starters, we can take the same risks on ourselves, believing that we will be taken care of, believing that we are valuable, believing that our needs matter, believing that we will not be rejected, we will not be abandoned, we will not be left out in the cold, that we are worthy and we have value to share with others, and God wants us to share that value with others. And so the illusion that there's risk here is to help us be strong and help us feel like we made it on our own, right? That we have the self-respect and the moxie and the backbone and the know-how and the perseverance, because we earned that step by step, that muscle memory, all that sweat made us stronger, not being propped up along the way. However, we know we've got that backup. We know we have that. And so instead of having a physical generational wealth that we have backup, we have that spiritual wealth of the Creator as our backup, because we know that we will be supported in fulfilling our destiny. But the challenges that we see are the initiations that give us the grit. They prepare the vessel to be able to sustain the fulfillment of the manifestation. They cut our claws, and we cut our teeth and we cut our claws this way. So the situation you find yourself in is directly connected to self-worth. There are many tests right now that are testing your self-worth. Pay attention and learn from your patterns. You deserve a healthy, happy life full of love and true relationships. But you have to be worthy enough to yourself to spend the time and energy to invest in getting to know yourself, supporting yourself, healing yourself, and taking care of yourself. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Honor your boundaries. So the way that you demonstrate like your worth to the universe is treating yourself like you would hope someone would treat you who valued you, right? I need to show up for my own self-improvement. I need to show up and do the things that fill my tank spiritually, mentally, physically, nutritionally, socially, right? I need to make sure that I surround myself with people who are positive, who are full of love and goodness and respect, and who inspire me and who believe in me and who are supportive. I need to show up and keep promises to myself, right? I need to follow through on taking action steps towards my dreams. All of those things. You want to keep the promises to yourself. You want to get to know yourself, right? Spend that time getting to know yourself, because if you don't have comfortable being intimately acquainted with you, then you won't have the capacity to share yourself intimately with someone else. And then you won't be able to hold the space for them to share their intimately with you. So if you want someone to be interested in your depths, you have to first plumb those depths and find them interesting. You have to be the first one to do it. So get to it. Strike a pose. There's nothing to it. Okay. Now, the subconscious influence that's affecting the situation. Let's see. Ooh, okay. Maybe it's this. Ooh, spiritual rebirth. Love it to see it, my friends. Love to see it. Born again. I'm feeling this. You know what's great about Pisces is that Pisces is the last sign on the zodiac. It's the most evolved. It's the most mature. It's the most spiritual. It's the fish because it's related to the Christ fish. It's like related to that Christ consciousness. And Pisces are all about service and spirituality and service from the heart and giving of the self for others. The Pisces have developed the greatest desire to share, but the downside of Pisces is that they have lost their desire to receive for the self alone. And we need that balance, because we need a desire to receive in order to have the get up and go, to take the action, to go and get it, to go get at it. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have enough ego, if you don't have enough desire, you don't have any of that get at it. So we've got to keep a little bit of that, but we got to keep that in service of that higher good, right? We need that healthy balance of both. So right now, I really feel that there is this spiritual rebirth happening. My incense right now is just like going up in a straight column, and then it's got like spirals on the top. It's like the spiritual rebirth that we're preparing the self to like walk through this portal of eclipse season. And when we get to the end of the year, it's like we get to have a little end of the year party, and then we move into the next year like in a clean slate, into a new cycle, with a new self. And also what I even forgot to mention before up until now is that in cahoots with all of this astrology supporting our rebirth and renewal and reinvention, so is Rosh Hashanah. I forgot. Okay, so like this month is the month of Elul. The 40 days preceding Rosh Hashanah are 40 days called Teshuvah. And during Teshuvah, these are 40 days of atonement where we reflect on ourselves during the month of Virgo, and we reflect on our year, and we reflect on our wrongdoings and our shortcomings and the ways that we wish we would have shown up better, and things that we would have done differently, and things we would have liked to have righted. And so this is our month of atonement to make to ask for or to gain forgiveness and to give forgiveness and to make amends and to make changes and to make vows to become different and to make that change. And so this month is all about making those changes and making those sacrifices of the self. And all of this effort adds in all of this extra energy to the blessings that are to come through Rosh Hashanah. Now, Rosh Hashanah is our spiritual new year. It's when we are basically, the slate has been wiped clean from the year before, and we are receiving the blessings to come in the year ahead, and we're putting all that in our spiritual bank account. Well, the work that we do during the month of Virgo, hopefully throughout the whole year, but particularly during the month of Virgo, is setting us that trust to put into that spiritual bank account. So this is like annually, the month of Virgo is all about like real deep self-reflection, self-analysis, and transformation and change. Come Rosh Hashanah, the shofar is blown. We are basically, we have our slate wiped clean, our soul ascends, and then for those, like, there's 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur that we are challenged. And we are challenged on every different level of the soul as we start to draw that soul back down. And so during that time, we are going through these days of judgment. We're drawing down these new levels of the soul, and it's like this wiring, the grid work, the infrastructure. You know, we talk about neuroplasticity. Well, that's the same kind of concept, but on a soul level. All the new wiring and new grid work is being laid for the new soul to come in and to be rebooted with more RAM, a bigger hard drive, you know, more storage space, all of that. So on Yom Kippur, we solidify that, and we bring down the new soul in that grid work. Well, the next 10 days are called Sukkot, and that is when the light of the new soul is now filled with the light over those 10 days during the same level, like level by level through the soul in the same procession that they went through the week before. So we are about to go into a spiritual rebirth that we are preparing ourselves for now, that will set us up for the year to come. So we are going in to this new cycle with our fresh Rosh Hashanah, dry cleaned soul, ready for the year. We've gotten our upgrade. We were being spit through the eclipse portal, and like the timelines, everything, it's all in our favor. We're ready, we're set, we're ready to go. I mean, the pyramids are lit. Even the aliens are like, let's do this. Okay, so we're good. This is very exciting. Renewed spirit, energy, enthusiasm, inspiration, motivation, confidence, and desire. Okay, so this is going to represent an issue from the past that's starting to go ahead and clear up. Like, it's not going to be an issue for much longer. It's a lesson we've already been dealing with. Rest and recuperate. So we need a break. Rest is productive. Take a nap. Don't work on anything. Do something fun. Burnout. You know, I am one of those people who, like, for me, I feel good about going to work, and I will work myself to death like a Clydesdale horse, because I will feel that is like some kind of false sense of control, like I'm doing everything that I can. And for me, it's an act of faith to be able to take a day off, or a couple of days off, or like a day off more often than I did, you know, last year or whatever. And so this year, it's really been interesting, because even though I've tried so hard to work as much as I can, it's like this year has just been the year it is economically at work, and like just the available shifts at work and whatnot. And it's interesting too, because it's only been in the last few weeks that I've decided to stop fighting it, and to actually lean in and enjoy the days off instead of like bemoaning it or being afraid. And like the last couple of days, the creator had me take a couple of cuts, and I hadn't planned on it, but it just was prompted on me very clearly, very suddenly. And whenever I get told to take the night off from work, I'm like, that's when I really second guess myself, because I think, oh, this must be the laziness of my flesh, just feeling the burnout. And I always come home and I check it with the pendulum, and then I pull a card or something to confirm. And this, the other day, I was even like gonna go again. The pendulum was like, yeah, stay home. Like, you don't need to go to work. And I was like, I'm gonna go anyway. And I was like, if I'm not supposed to go, then I need like a really clear sign that I need to stay home. And then the sign ended up coming, but I kept going against all this like suggestion. But yeah, I think that we've been like, this year has been slower, or the fates have been trying to get us to be in a state of like isolation and stillness. Like the universe wants to get you by yourself so you can think, so that you can reflect, so that the change can happen and you can be reintegrated. Because all of it is like really intense. I for the last month, I usually sleep so good and so peacefully and don't even move through the night. But for the last month or so, I have felt like I could run a marathon in the middle of every night. And I've had to eat a bunch of ashwagandha gummies to like get through, like to go to sleep. That's so unlike me, but it's just like sometimes we have those seasons where we're getting these surges of like our light body coming in, and we have these ascension symptoms, and we need sleep and we need rest, and our bodies are out of whack, and our minds need rest, and our subconscious needs a chance to be able to get your attention without it being busy or preoccupied in a state of escape or just being engaged in something mundane. So I think that there's probably been a lot more opportunity you've either had more opportunity to take time to yourself, or there have been opportunities and you felt bad to do it, but you feel like you need it really bad. So it's like, take time for yourself, because it's not going to last much longer. Like the resting, the recuperating, I have a feeling like things are going to start picking up. The pace is going to start picking up, because eclipses accelerate things. So we're going to be getting busier. Even just the holidays are coming up, and that's going to be busier, and we're going to be running around, and we're going to be distracted, and we're not going to have that same attention that we can give. So take your rest, take your leave now while you can, because this time is of the essence, and we may not have as much time to rest and relax and recuperate. What's crowning us is Shabbat. This is rest. This is time out. But I think that what we need to do is, what we've been learning is how to not burn ourselves out, how to be able to take rhythms of rest, and how to be able to draw stronger, healthier boundaries around work and work-life balance, and the effort that we're exerting at any given time versus the amount that we can trust and let go. And so I think that we're resting from burnout or near burnout. And I think that that period of convalescence is coming to a completion. But what's crowning us now is a sacred, ritualistic, rhythmic rest that now we can hold sacred and value and observe regularly. And so that way we're sustained and we can maintain. Shabbat, Sabbath. Holy sacred rest, pause, cosmic womb, rhythms, introspection, spiritual renewal, sacred rituals. Shabbat is a sacred time of rest in which we restrict in order to receive the light. During this sacred rest, we are renewed and replenished. It is a mini death and rebirth. Wow, spiritual rebirth, rest and recuperate. Wow, like repetition of theme here. During the sacred rest, we are renewed and replenished. It is a mini death and rebirth, the end and the beginning of each week. During Shabbat, we are blessed with an open window in time to receive the light of the goodness and blessing of the Creator. We refrain from work. We refrain from reactive behavior, gossip and low vibrational thinking. negative speech, and anything else that drains us of our spiritual energy. During Shabbat, we have extra spiritual support to receive insight and wisdom through study and to experience significant transformation. When we take action to share and to change our own negative attitude and beliefs and behaviors. So awesome. So Shabbat literally occurs from on Friday night at sundown, and it lasts until Saturday night on sundown. And it is during that particular time of the week, those days, you can't really swap it around. I mean, you can, like, it's better to honor at least one day a week of rest whenever you can. But so if you can't do it during that time frame, do it on another day. Like Sunday is a different day, but it's still sacred. But particularly speaking, there is a specific quality of energy available between Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown that's not available during other days of the week. Okay, so what's coming around the corner? What do we have coming right up ahead? Deservingness is the key to unblocking your manifestation. So right now, we are learning deservingness, which is pretty good to see, because if we were talking about worth, wait, didn't we? This is an issue of self-worth. Okay. Self-worth is like a deeper issue. It's like the preliminary groundwork, the foundational work. And then deservingness is more of a topical treatment, if that makes sense, right? Like the root cause of the illness is self-worth, but the deservingness is like topical issues. So this is good. This is lighter energy. So what has been crossing us are issues of self-worth. But we've started to heal that. So we're starting to attract higher things that match our new sense of self-worth. But as they show up, we will be tested as a vessel to receive these things that we have now vibrationally shown the universe. I feel worthy of this. The universe is then like, are you sure? I'm going to send this your way. And if you're not vibrationally ready, it's going to bounce off. And so the issue now is, okay, we've worked on the self-worth. Now, do we have the sense of deservingness when it shows up to not sabotage or to not push it away, right? Do we deserve this? How many times has somebody said, like, I don't deserve you, or I don't know what you see, or I don't deserve this, like somebody else could take it, and they don't want the job, they don't want the girlfriend, they don't want the boyfriend, I don't deserve it. Like, we have to be able to deserve, right? The package shows up because we established, we were able to prove the self-worth to buy the package and have it shipped. But we can't receive the package until we know that we deserve it. Otherwise, the package will get lost, the package will be sent back, the package will be pirated off the porch. But in order to receive the package now, we must feel like we deserve it. So deservingness is the key to unblocking the manifestation. Okay. The next card represents our perspective that's affecting us right now. And this is usually a perspective that's kind of having a negative effect on us. So it's time to party. So maybe, okay, so one of the messages from our weekend reflective message, our weekly anchor message, which is our assignments for the week, was moving beyond the emotional immaturity that keeps us in like the maiden level versus moving up to the queen. Or like in a male like scenario, it would be like the knight versus the king. What keeps us in a state of an emotional immature expression of ourselves and is thwarting our potential? And I challenge you to check yourself to see if, I don't believe that this crowd is afraid of failure. I think that we are more afraid of our success, because that threatens then our freedom, our free spirit, our free schedule, our carefree attitude, our non-committal lackadaisicalness, right? When you have success, you then have more responsibility. More people are depending on you. If you have if you're overwhelmed making choices and decisions, you will be having to make a lot of choices and decisions. You will be having to take care of business. And if that is overwhelming to you, then you're going to go into an avoidance state and be perpetually longing for the party. And you are going to be reaching for instant gratification, just having fun in the day and going and hanging out with your friends, going to grab lunch, going to do this, going to do that. And then meanwhile, all this time is ticking by that you could have been devoting to your legacy, your own potential financial independence, your purpose in life. Like, you could be directing that energy into your own success, but because you're afraid of the success, your perspective is it's time to party, right? So that mentality is the thing that's like holding you back a little bit. Now, we do need to keep that attitude of being able to celebrate and have joy, but we need balance, we need temperance with it. And so we do need to have more discipline about and structure. So the outer situation and how it's affecting us, how others are affecting us right now, is compromise. So there's something, we don't want to compromise who we are at our core or compromise our values or our integrity, but there may be like issues that will require us to give and take a little bit, to be cooperative, to compromise a little bit. The situation requires give and take for a win-win situation. You don't have to compromise yourself or your values to find a healthy compromise in this situation. So yeah, you may be going into like a scenario that's not as black and white as you may have perceived it in the past, through a lesser mature lens. But through where you are now, you can see that, as we get older, we're like, do we want to be right or do we want to be happy? So maybe the situation for everyone to have a win-win situation, it's going to require a little bit of give and take. So be flexible. Okay, so our hopes and fears, the card that came up for this is an issue of self-love. So this is like the trifecta of the self-love. This is like the culmination, the turning point, the key to the 15-year cycle is, have we learned self-love? Have we learned self-worth? And do we at this point feel like we deserve the life that has been given and set aside for us? That is our spiritual inheritance. That is life is uniquely set aside for us. No one else can have this life. It's only ours. And it will only be expressed and come into fruition if we take ownership of it and do it. Imagine that your life is this beautiful masterpiece that the creator is watching unfold, like a series or a show or a movie or an opera. And there's this plot that could unfold, but it's like we see the character making choices as the performance unfolds, like in real time. And so the creator, and this is part of our weekly energy forecast, was the holy vision of sorrow. When we see the world that could have been, but we see also the reality of the world that we have, and how short and we've come, how far we've fallen, and how short we've come, or we've fallen short of that. This is an issue of self-love. Love yourself first, and others will follow. You can only love others as well as you are able to love yourself. You've been putting others first at the expense of your own authenticity. It's time to realign with your higher self and make choices that are true to you. And this could be your lifelong theme, especially if you have a lot of prominent Libra placements in your chart, or even Cancer. We have a codependency wound because of our empathy to people please and to make others happy at the expense of our own authenticity. We've compromised ourselves so much that we don't know when it's okay to compromise, right? Because once you've awakened to that, you're like, oh wow, I don't want to do that anymore. I need to create boundaries around myself so that I know when I'm authentically going with something, or when I'm like, no, I'd rather not, and I can speak up for myself and hold my independence. And so if you are like that kind of person, you might care so much about your family and your friends and your relationship, like your romantic relationship, that you want to make sure that everybody's happy and everybody is, having a good life and everybody's getting taken care of, and you forget about yourself. And you're doing it from a good place, or you think you are. Like you might be doing it because you expect on a subconscious level that this will make sure that you don't get abandoned. It's not then it's not a free gift. That's strings attached, right? So there's all this enmeshment, right? So self-love. So love yourself first and others will follow. You can only love others as well as you are able to love yourself. You've been putting others first at the expense of your own authenticity. It's time to realign with your higher self and make choices that are true to you. Okay. And so this is when in our love or our hopes and fears position. And so this is like, the test for you has always been, I want what I want, but I'm afraid that if I do what's best for me, that I'll lose what's most dear to me, right? What if I'm rejected if I stand up for myself, or if I prioritize my needs, or if I ask that my needs are prioritized, right? So that's going to be the test. The fear of, I'm afraid of not getting what I want, or I'm afraid that, my deepest fear is going to come true. It's an issue of self-love. And so it's probably, the test comes when you put yourself aside because you're afraid that it'll cost you. Like you do something to people please to keep them around, or to keep, like as a defense or a survival mechanism. Does that make sense? It can range. There can be different nuances of this, but I think you guys are feeling what I'm getting at. And then final outcome, don't be lazy. So also, like one of the lessons in my my Kabbalah class recently in Kabbalah 9 was all about spiritual laziness. And basically what that is when you know the changes that need to be made, like the ones we're reflecting on now, are you quick to start making those changes, or are you putting them off? Are you procrastinating? Do you press snooze, or do you jump right out of bed ready to meet the day? Have you started on those good habits? Are you falling back into the same old patterns with such and such? Are you going back into talking gossip and evil tongue? Are you casting evil eye? And are you competitive and envious? And is your hostility, surging again? Like, are you making the changes, or are you ignoring them? When you hear guidance from God, do you take action on it, or do you ignore it? Right? Like it came up today for me. I was like, am I being spiritually lazy by taking the cut from work, by staying home and not working? Or am I being spiritually lazy by trying to go to work even though I'm feeling prompted to stay home? So the spiritually lazy thing to do would be to ignore my instructions to stay home from work and go to work anyway. That would not be, I would be spiritually lazy because I wouldn't be taking the advice that Spirit was giving me. That would have been the thing that would scare me the most to do, which is take the night off. That scares me more than going to work. The dread, I don't feel dread going to work. I like going to work, but taking time off, that threatens my security. And so that causes me more fear. And so taking that action of like saying like, okay, I'll take the cut. That took me overcoming the fear to do that. So it took effort. Do you see the nuance there? Even though it is literally an issue of, is it lazy to stay home and take the night off work? Because that feels like the lazier, comfortable thing to do. But for me, in my particular tikkun, I'm not prone to laziness. I'm prone to overworking. Do you see what I'm saying? I think that my worth is dependent upon what I can produce. and how productive I am and how much I can achieve and accomplish. So for me, to take the day off is not spiritually lazy, but it takes effort and courage on my part to face that fear. Does that make sense? Now, if you're a person who is lazy, always hungover, always calling out of work, never wants to go to work, then for you, it would be opposite. It would be, no, the tikkun healing for you, the tikkun correction is to start loving and being excited about going to work, being enthusiastic about work, and finding the value in that. So hopefully that's starting to make sense. So I think that the final outcome here is learning how to live our lives from a state of being very spiritually prompt and following that guidance and making the changes that we see that we need to make that are pivotal to us moving forward in our progress and towards our goals. Okay, let's grab 4 tarot cards to like round off this message, this story here. Like this. Oh, we have the Magician. All right, we've got everything that we need. Mind, body, heart, soul, spirit. We're ready to take the elements and bring them together. Now it's all about drawing upon that divine inspiration and grounding it into material, earthly action. Love it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Okay. I just love her outfit. I love the little space buns. I want to actually rock this look right now. Oh, okay. Hold on. Stop the presses. The Lovers came out just the other day, just this week. This is, sometimes this hints at a significant relationship that has a spiritual basis to it, like one of those major relationships in our lives. But ultimately right now we are at a Y point in the road where we are choosing, okay, who am I going to be going forward? Am I going to be my old self, trying to drag that old carcass into the new world? Or am I going to be my new self? And am I going to be adopting my new choices and mindsets? And so in order to choose one path or another, a choice has to be made, right? Indecision. What is that? Where was it? Somewhere we had that it was like indecision was keeping us frozen. It's like the Lovers, the deeper meaning behind the Lovers card is making major life choices, making decisions, and approaching those, like bringing those issues to God in prayer and trying to connect to the Holy Spirit for guidance in which direction to take, but ultimately going beneath the choppy waters of surface emotions and thought chatter, mind chatter, and static, and go deep. Where is the heart leading you? What fills you with love and expansive inspiration? What lifts you up? What lights you up? Where's the soul pulling you towards? Those are the heart-centered, soul-led choices that you should be making. You should be making choices from the heart, from your heart of hearts. Not from emotional immaturity and reactivity. Well, I feel like this and I feel like this and don't make them from that place. That's not your heart. That's not your heart of hearts. That's not the seat of your soul. What is the still, quiet truth that keeps perpetuating? Like the whole time I was working in film, it was like I kept thinking, I just feel like I need to be spending my career or my time teaching people about spirituality and being the mystic. And I don't know what shape or format that's going to be in, but a career in film just seemed like I was using my talent and my mind and my spirit for the wrong things. I was going into the direction that my ego and my flesh thought sounded like fun and wanted to do, but there was something that called me even though there was no certainty, there was no reason, there was no logic about it. And it wouldn't leave me alone until I went in that direction. And it gave me such a peace to pivot and to start going in that direction, even though it's not easy, even though it's not challenging and I get tired. I don't feel the torment of feeling like I'm going down the wrong road anymore. So I made that decision from the heart, but it wasn't based on feelings. It wasn't based on, this lights me up. This, it was deeper than that. It was stronger. It was more galvanizing than that. It was more sustaining. It was more unrelenting. It wouldn't let go. That's where we go to make those decisions from the heart. And this is 2 major arcana cards back to back. So that's major change. This is the choices that we're making that are going to be the seed levels for this next chapter, for this new start. Oh my gosh, this was our daily card today. Ace of Cups, emotional and spiritual rebirth, people. It's all around us. I love it. This is emotional renewal. This is new cycles of new relationships, deepening friendships, new romance, a new lease on life. A new sense of spirit, a new sense of energy to go out into the world with and to tackle your dreams, new inspiration. And then here we have 9 of Pentacles, which I love this. This is the person who's established happiness and they're happy in their own skin. They're happy in their own company. This is a person who's truly developed a sense of security within, an interdependence about them. They have a relationship with spirit, which is represented by the bird, and they've been guided. And so they've taken action based on the guidance from spirit. They weren't spiritually lazy. They took action, and now they have the fruits of their labors to enjoy. And there's still something left. There's still a little bit of fulfillment that they're longing for. They're longing for that partner and that family and that legacy and whatnot. That comes in the 10 of Cups and in the 10 of Pentacles. Like those people are in groups of like their tribe around them. Whereas this is specifically about the relationship with self and the relationship, and this could even be a single individual. But this is still that last piece of the puzzle isn't quite there, but very well on our way. Very well on our way. So the fruits of our labors are coming in. This is really good. This is the completion of that long journey, and then the overflow is going to be happening. Those 10s. Okay, let's grab 1 Angel Wisdom Tarot card. I feel like it's this one. Oh my gosh, y'all, you can't even make this up. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. I love it. A beautiful new emotional experience. A romantic relationship or deep friendship, awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual insights, a love letter, a new home. Beautiful new cycles and chapters starting. So much confirmation backing it up. Super excited. Let's get a Moonology card. Woo, okay. Have faith in your dreams. Oh my gosh, the waxing crescent. I took a picture of the moon out tonight as I was walking in the forest, and I decided to walk through the neighborhood to come home. And it was just like such a nice end of summer night. And sometimes it's fun that once I've gone through the forest and I can go out through the park, I can actually walk through the neighborhood back to my house. And then it helps me enjoy more of the daylight, but also like I get to like look into people's houses and look at people's like weird stuff in their yard. And it's usually like a really nice view of the sky. And I noticed that the sky was nice and purple. Like Pisces, I just associate Pisces with purple. And I expected the moon to have a purple aura, but it actually had a black aura tonight. I can see colored auras around the moon. I don't know if that's something everybody's seeing or if it's something I'm specifically seeing, but tonight the aura around the moon was black. And I don't think that's negative. I just think it was very grounding and protective. Like getting us prepared to, like with the seat belts on and your safety belts, your safety bar down before this ride through eclipse season. So that was really fun. But have faith in your dreams, waxing crescent. That's the whole thing. This whole all the astrology, everything right now is pointing us toward getting clear, reigniting that faith in our dreams and really going after them and shedding any of the reluctance around really going after them. We were given those dreams for a reason. In fact, we were entrusted with those dreams. Someone on the other side was like, all right, we can trust you with this. You will realize this and get this done more than likely. So we're going to give this desire to you. They are all counting on us to do these things. Humanity needs your whatever it is that you do, even if it's making earrings. I had a pair of these beaded earrings that I love. They were aqua and blue, and they broke recently, and I can't fix them because they're intricate beaded earrings. And I'm like, oh, I'm devastated. But like, those added so much to my life. Nothing will come of the situation. So void, of course, was another card that was just sort of like flipped over in the deck. I wanted to take a look at it. And I think that there's something about like just not trying to plant new seeds right now, that if new things have already started percolating, then great. But then don't start your big new projects until the end of this year and the beginning of next year. As we round out the end of this year, it's about like finishing things, culminations. If something's already underway, then like keep working at it and with it. And like if something's recent, then just like let it slowly develop. But right now is not a great time to come up with a new idea suddenly and like start that thing during eclipse season. So let these few weeks play out. That'll bring us through the rest of this Pluto retrograde and through the high holidays. And by the time we get to the end of November, we're going to be like new people. And then we'll be ready for Hanukkah, where we just draw in all the light and party. It'll be such a relief. So excited. Okay. So let's grab 4 cards regarding our manifestation. So what do we need to do over the next 2 weeks during the waning cycle in regards to our goals and our dreams? How do we need to approach these? Divine magic. Extra magical energy surrounds your situation right now. Expect miracles. So yeah, I mean, the air is electric. Everybody's saying so. All the cards are saying so. Ooh, pay attention. Notice repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information. So as far as the next couple of weeks, like there's magic in the air. Pay attention. Follow the signs. Follow your guidance. Like take action. Treat it almost like while you're letting go. Also treat it like a waxing cycle where you're still taking action, right? Okay, what we have here. Friendship, make a date for make a date for a play date with one or more friends. Love this. So if you can, over the next couple of weeks, try to make a play date with a friend. And yeah, maybe like, bouncing off of a good sounding board. I mean, that just helps the process, right? Someone you can workshop all the stuff that's been going on with and talk it out and talk it through is invaluable. And it just like helps so much to get like your spirits high, get laughing and talk and get inspired and creative. Synchronicity. Your prayers and questions are being answered by synchronistic events. Notice them in order to increase their flow. So we have 2 cards back to back that are like, pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the synchronicities, take action on them. Don't be spiritually lazy. Don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore the synchronicities. Take action on them. There is extra magical energy right now, and it's important that you make a date for play with one or more of your friends. Okay. Now, romance. Let's see what our love lives have in store over the next couple of weeks. Ooh, hold on. Ooh, this could be the one. you've said this before, Oracle deck. You've already met the romantic partner that you seek. Interesting. So I would say easy does it through the eclipse season, but no need to go into like some kind of medieval confinement either. Just take it slow. But yeah, there is a possibility that some cutie patootie might have some significant possibility for you. Maybe they're a real option. Okay, what else? Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. Okay, so like it's kind of like take a risk. This could be someone who could be a real possibility. This could be a serious option. Like give it a chance, see what happens. Like make a date for play. Like see what happens. Like just give it a chance. Work on the partnership, you know? Don't tell my heart. I think this is the country music couple. Don't tell my heart. Achy breaky heart. Just don't think you'd understand. Okay, what is this? Love yourself first. So back to that, all that good advice from Straightforward Oracle. This is an issue of self-love. This is an issue of self-worth, and this is an issue of deserving. So remember, in order to stay anchored through this romantic gauntlet of, you know, learning new cycles and new patterns and trying to try things the healthier way, just start and make your basic play-by-play, just like root it in self-love, right? Respect yourself, love yourself, know that you're worthy, know that you're deserving, make choices based on integrity, take your time, be confident, let yourself assume that someone likes you. Oh my God, I know. Isn't that a novel idea? The arrogance, the hubris of it. But what if we just, instead of being insecure and second guessing ourselves and being like, I wonder if they like me, like maybe you just like operate under the assumption that they do and relax based on that and see how things play out, instead of feeling like those old voices that are coming up that are wanting you to do something reactive, that are wanting you to try to touch base, to try to control, to try to get on the radar, to get the attention. I want to do this to get a response. Like all of that, none of it is just relax and see what happens, see how it plays out, see if they like you, see if they make any initiative, right? So just try to adopt a delusional moment of insanity, but consciously, to assume that this person probably likes you. Now relax and let things play out and don't do anything crazy. Okay. Love yourself. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Okay, so it's okay to say no. It's okay to stick to your plan, your schedule. It's okay not to, bend over backwards to accommodate. Oh, we had, what is this? Oh my gosh. The angel card was on the floor, the angel tarot, and it is the Wheel of Fortune. So good things coming, especially with our love life, because I found it with the love card. A fresh new start or the end of delays, sudden or unexpected progress, a very positive change in your life, travel, or a new vehicle. A new vehicle for self-discovery. Oh my gosh. This came up with new love. New love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Okay, so this could be someone that you might have a thing with. Give it a chance. They've stirred there's some stirrings. Maybe a little crushy crush developing. Give it a chance. It might surprise you. If all is well, like if it's all a go, no red flags. If there's yellow flags, then be cautious, but don't totally shut someone out in a panic. But basic like criteria first, love yourself first, right? Love yourself first. Show up with a lot of self-respect, and don't be too rigid or like heavy-handed. You know, I think that sometimes when people don't know how to command like flirty self-respect, they're like, well, listen, I need to make myself known, and I need answers, and I want clarity. It's just like too much. It's just like, I don't know. There's an art to it. There really is. There's an art. It's too much to talk about now. Okay. Now let's see. Let's get some loving advice from Mother Mary, Queen of Angels, Jesus's mom. Well, that came out fast. There was no hesitation. Devotion. Mary was like, I'm not second guessing myself. Devotion. As I fully commit to my values, relationships, and God, I am clear about what to do next. So this season is all about commitment. Commitment to ourselves, commitment to following through on promises that we've made to ourselves, commitment to our goals, commitment to our well-being and our health, commitment to our love to ourselves, commitment to our values, commitment to our spiritual practices and our beliefs, commitment to our family and our friends, and commitment to, say, for instance, in our love lives, when this new big, huge new cycle starting, that means that there's going to be new opportunities. And that could be with new opportunities to make new friends, new opportunities to make new romantic relationships, to create from scratch, from the beginning, and devote yourself to making them the healthiest relationships they can be. But one thing is true, if you want to grow something that's going to have legs for the long term, that's going to yield long-term value, and that's going to be able to sustain, you have to be devoted to it. So you can't even make yourself commit to something that you're not really devoted to, right? Your heart won't be in it in the end. So choose and make choices based on what is in alignment with your values. But then when you've made those choices, really stick with them. Be devoted, be committed, keep showing up, keep being there for yourself. And as you are continually there for yourself, then you will see that life will start reflecting that same support back to us. Devotion. Okay, and then last but not least, some loving words from Jesus. Ooh, we have 3. Take this one first. I am with you always, even until the end of the world. Jesus is with us, so any time of the day, you can use your voice to voice your prayers out loud, to get guidance, to get comfort, to get peace, to get some sort of clarity, right? To get the certainty that you need to be able to make a decisive call on something. Pray always. What was I just saying? Any time of the day, you can use your voice to pray out loud. Pray always. I am with you always, even until the end of the world. And what is this? Seek and you shall find. So keep praying. Use your prayer. That's the most powerful thing you can do. It's more powerful than any spell work or anything like that. Prayer, and it's easy and it's readily available. You've got to get your mind set there, and you've got to get into the practice. But once you do, just let her rip, baby. Let your heart open up and pour it out, and it'll come more naturally. But it's particularly powerful if you pray out loud. We want to use the power of our mouth, because that is what we share in affinity with the light of the Creator. The Creator said in words, "Let there be light." And he told Moses to tell water to come out of the rock with his mouth, but Moses disobeyed and struck it with the staff. So It's the power of our words that give us the most affinity and raise us above all of the other living kingdoms. It's our ability to take a thought from nothing and be able to create a physicalized creation from that in word. All right, you all, pray always, seek and you shall find. I am with you always, even until the end of the world. Peace be with you. Happy full moon in Pisces, the mutable feminine water sign Pisces. Ciao. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, then please give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications to be notified of when I drop content. Like the videos, comment, share them. Anything that you do helps these messages get out to other people who need them. So you watching a video and taking an action on it actually makes a positive difference in someone else's life.